Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to get Big Sur running on your mid-2012 MacBook Pro or any other Mac device that supports Catalina but was dropped on drop support from Big Sur. So as you can see, I have my Wi-Fi working and I'll guide you through the whole process of how I got it working. The first step is you want to create your USB installer, and I'm going to go ahead and go through the process of recreating mine just to show you guys how it really works. So you'll want to have a USB flash drive that's 16 gigabytes or larger, and you will want to find it, and you'll want to go to the view panel and hit show all devices so you can click on the device from the top layer. Then you'll want to hit erase, and you'll want to call it whatever you want to call it, but I'll just call it install macOS Big Sur. And you want to have it macOS extended journaled and GUID partition map, and you'll want to hit erase. To get the install Big Sur app, you'll want to go to this website, which I have linked in the description, parrotgeek.com/Big Sur, and you can download the installer package here, and you can also download his tool right here, so you can create the installer in a way that it will be able to install on an unsupported Mac. So I'll just copy the commands directly from what he has here, which you just want to copy that, and you'll want to open up terminal, you'll want to paste that command, you want to put a space, and you want to select drag and drop the volume that you want to create the installer on. You type in your password, which you will not see, but it is typing, and you click, if you wish to continue, press Y, and it will erase the disk and create the installer for you. Alright, now that our media has been created, we can create a patch installer. So you'll want to go over to Parrot Geek's website again, and you'll want to copy over this command and run it on the patch installer. So you'll want to paste that, and then you'll want to put a space, and you'll want to drag and drop this file in and hit enter. Then you'll want to drag and drop this file in again, and then you'll want to go to your desktop where the installer has now been renamed to install macOS beta. You drag and drop that in, you hit enter, and it patches it. The next step is you will want to actually open up the USB and download the text file for the installation of Wi-Fi, and that will be also in the description, and you'll want to just copy it over here for the simplicity purposes, and I will probably provide a commands RTF file or something like that where you can just, that'll be in the zip file, and you'll just want to transfer that all for the simplicity purposes of being able to put in commands if you don't know what you're doing fully. Then you'll want to shut down your computer. Then you'll want to power on your MacBook and hold the Alt/Option key on your keyboard. And then you'll get to this menu where you can select the USB to boot from. There's one part I forgot to mention. So this is going to be jumped into the spot where you will have to run this. You'll want to open up Utilities, and you'll want to open up Terminal. And there's two commands you'll need to run. One is CSR util disable, and one is CSR util authenticated root disable. Once you have those running, you should be good to install macOS Big Sur and continue the installation. So once you're in the USB, you'll want to go to Disk Utility, and you can add a volume. First, you'll have to hit this button, View, and hit Show All Devices. Then wherever you want to install, you can either select this and create a new partition, or you can add a volume, but adding a volume can ruin updating over the air with Catalina, so just be warned on that. I'll add a volume because I don't really, it doesn't really bother me, and I'm just going to call it test BS, because I'm not going to keep this as my main OS. So, and I'll just allocate 60 gigabytes. I just tried doing 50 and it actually didn't let me install. So you have to do 60 at least, or 55 or something like that. And once you're done, you'll just want to launch up the install macOS app here. And then you'll want to hit continue, agree, agree. And you'll want to install it to your drive. So in my case, it would be testBS. And this timer is not very accurate at all. So just let it sit here for your normal like 10 minutes or so. And I'll be back once it reboots. So the install has completed. So now it is booting into what I call phase 2 of the installation, where it is going to go through the estimated time remaining, which will take like 30 minutes or so. And you can tell Apple has phased out the gray background because they have changed the Apple logo permanently to the white color. So once this part you just let complete all the way through. On the next phase is where we do some more things, and it's important. Do not skip. Okay, now that we're on the next phase, we got into the third phase of the install, which on this one, we're gonna wanna hit up to this point, and anything beyond that, we can power off the machine. As long as it doesn't hit the end, if you power off the machine, this part will not seal your APFS volume, which is the main cause for error 66. So I will show you guys approximately where you will know just based on the speed at which it is going. Once it slows down significantly, that's when you want to power off the machine, and you'll want to hold Alt when booting it, and you can select the main partition as a boot partition. You will need to boot it multiple times because it likes to reboot a few times. So I would say approximately right here is a good spot to just hold your power button. This isn't a perfect solution, but this is the solution that is being used temporarily. So then you hold you click your power button and you hold the Alt Option key. Now, if you didn't do it at the right time, that's all right. You'll just have to go to the macOS installer partition again. But if you did do it correctly, you will notice that you have a new partition that is called the partition, so testBS. So you'll want to select that as your boot partition, and you'll notice it's booting significantly faster. And I believe it'll reboot, or maybe not. If it does happen to reboot, just hold the Alt and Option key and or Alt/Option key, and select the partition again to boot to it. Okay, yes, it did reboot. So now you'll just want to hold the Alt and Option key again. And the reason you have to do this is because by default, it is trying to get you to boot off macOS installer, and that'll just give you a no entry sign, or it'll try to boot it again. So you'll want to scroll over to your partition that you need to boot, and you want to select it again. Okay, now we've gotten to the point where it will put us into the setup. So I'm just going to set up the computer with a local user, but if you want to set up an iCloud account, you will need an Ethernet connection for the time being. You'll want to select the place you live. If you want to do whatever, go for it. So for me, I'm not going to go with Ethernet because I don't want to log into an account here, but you will want to use your Ethernet, or if you don't want to log into an iCloud account right now, just select my computer does not use internet and continue. Then you'll want to go through setup. You'll want to hit not now unless you do want to transfer data. Then you'll want to agree to this terms of service, which we've technically already broke, and then you'll want to just put a username that you want. I'm just going to put admin as for simplicity purposes, and then I will show you how to get Wi-Fi working if you do not have a separate partition. So we'll just want to continue. I'll turn up the screen. We'll wanna, I don't mind. I like the screen time, it tracks my time. It's very cool. I don't actually set limits though, because that's stupid. I'm gonna unblock those limits anyway, so who cares? So once we're done setting up the Mac, will end up on the desktop. And if you followed everything correctly, you should be able to sudo mount UW on this next step, which is what we're about to do next. So we're on the main desktop, we're waiting for it to load in and all. But yeah, as you will notice, we do not have Wi-Fi. We don't have Wi-Fi. And so what we will have to do, I personally just open up preferences. This is my first step to do, is I open up preferences and show hard disks on the desktop and enable all of these options, but that's just a me thing. From there, what you'll want to do is you'll want to open up the test BS or whatever you called your own disk. You'll want to open that up. And you'll also want to open up a terminal window. So in here, you'll want to run sudo mount -uw/ and you'll want to put in the password you set, and you'll want to go to System, Library, and you'll want to find Extensions. You'll want to hit Get Info. You'll want to go to Sharing and Permissions, and you'll want to hit this little lock, type in your password, and change these settings to read and write. Then you'll want to hold Alt and right click or secondary click on Finder and hit relaunch. Once you relaunch Finder, you'll be able to modify the extensions file, and you'll want to be able to drag and drop this modified text into this folder and just replace the file, put in your password. Once that's done, you open up terminal again and you run sudo chmod, or chown first, -r, and these will be commands in a text file hopefully, and you'll just be able to copy and paste these, but you'll want to run this to System, Library, Extensions. Then you'll want to run sudo chmod -r 755 System, Library, Extensions. After that, you want to run sudo util install --update -all, and this command will take a little bit to execute. It'll spout out a bunch of crap, and there's one more command that you will need to run. And another thing you could do in the meantime is open up System Preferences and go to your startup disk and change, even if you only have one disk here, you'll want to unlock and you'll want to select the disk you want to boot to. So I'm going to actually change it back to my normal disk. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. So I made a mistake, so I'm going to continue this in my actual Big Sur install because reinstalling all of that will be a pain in the butt. There's one command that I didn't get to run, even though the util cache finished. I goofed up, didn't get time, I accidentally hit restart. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you the last command you need to run in the terminal, and after that your Wi-Fi will work after a reboot, which will take a minute. Okay, so the final command that I did not run, after you run all of the commands that I just showed you, you'll want to type in sudo kc ditto, and you'll just want to hit enter. I'm not going to run this on my computer currently because I don't know if there will be any unexpected consequences of this action, and I don't want to break my current main OS. But after you run that, you'll want to go ahead and do what I did with System Preferences. Now, go to your startup disk and change it to the main startup disk and hit restart. If you do not run kc ditto, you will end up in a non-bootable OS and you'll have to go through the whole process again. Like, I don't want to do that right now, so I'm just gonna show you that example here. And it'll take a minute, it'll like have a spinning icon here for a long time, and then it'll reboot and it'll take a long time to boot into the OS, but once you boot into the OS, you will have Wi-Fi. And that's how you get Wi-Fi on Big Sur. Thanks for watching.